Hey guys, Greg Chapalski the Music Nut here, and today I want to talk about the brand new track release from Michigan melodic death metalers, the Black Dahlia Murder. It's been a while since this band has really been in the limelight, their last extreme bouts of popularity coming around the release of Miasma, and the follow-up to that album, Nocturnal, and that was a good few years ago now. Nonetheless, the Black Dahlia Murder has maintained a nice consistency in their music over the 16 years they've been a band, continuing to play their unique brand of death metal, characterized by fast and chugging riffs, and of course vocalist Trevor Sternad's distinct screams. I've personally been a fan of the Black Dahlia Murder since 2011 when they released their album Ritual, and since then they've released two other albums, Everblack and Abysmal. While this band is known to be a sort of carefree, weed-smoking, fun-having sort of band, one cannot deny the amount of work and hustle they put into their music. Since 2003, the Black Dahlia Murder has successfully released an album every 2 years, quite a bit better than the average 3 to 4 years a band normally takes to make and subsequently release an album. And since their last record, Abysmal, came out in 2015, you know what that means? That's right, new Black Dahlia Murder album, Nightbringers, out October 6th on Metal Blade Records. Now, the first single that has been released for this album is the title track Nightbringers, and I want to talk a little about it. Right off the bat, I felt that this song started in a bit of an unusual way. Sure, it begins with a sort of slow-tempo, melodic, headbanging rhythm that has become a staple of the Black Dahlia Murder's music over the years, but it feels like this rhythm shouldn't be at the beginning. Normally when we get these sorts of melodies, these riffs, in a Black Dahlia Murder song, they're held specifically for the chorus or some sort of pre-solo build-up. Consider the chorus from the song Goat of Departure off of Everblack. This chorus has a similar vibe to what we hear at the beginning of Nightbringers. It's got a slow tempo, it's melodic, and it makes you want to bang your head and smack some grannies or something. But in Goat of Departure, this slow melodic section is held only for the chorus. Yet, in the new song Nightbringers, we not only hear the song open with a slow melodic section, we hear this same section during the chorus and something very similar during the verses as well. So we get an opening, the verses, and a chorus which all kind of feel the same. Honestly, I felt like this melody was used so much in this track that it lost its initial impact by like the third listen, and thus Nightbringers became a little dull compared to other singles that the Black Dahlia Murder has released in the past. As for Trevor Sternad's vocals, we don't seem to get anything new here. We get his familiar screams, we get his familiar mid-range growls, but we don't get Trevor embarking into any unfamiliar territory with his vocal delivery. And don't get me wrong, I don't expect Trevor to start clean singing or something. I don't expect the Black Dahlia Murder to become the next Suicide Silence self-titled album. I can respect that they're still death metal, and I can respect that they're still as crushing as they were from the start. But it would have been nice to hear some unfamiliar vocal patterns from Trevor, or maybe some faster vocals, maybe some deeper vocals, maybe some shriller vocals. I mean, one of the singles off of their last album, Abysmal, was Threat Level number 3, and when that chorus kicks in, holy shit, I've yet to see death metal vocals delivered at such a relentless pace. Unfortunately, there doesn't seem to be a moment quite as memorable as that one on Nightbringers. Sure, this still sounds like Black Dahlia Murder, but it sounds like the Black Dahlia Murder at their most basic level. Which is still super technical, but I know deep down in my heart that they can do a little better. One thing I will acknowledge though is the skill of their new guitarist, Brandon Ellis. Back in I believe early 2016, former lead guitarist Ryan Knight left the band after recording 4 studio albums with them, and with it, he left some pretty big shoes to fill. But if Nightbringers does anything, I think it assures Black Dahlia Murder fans that Brandon is going to be a great replacement on this album. The solo on Nightbringers is, in my opinion, an amazing solo that feels very consistent to the Black Dahlia Murder style. Like many of my favorite Dahlia solos, Climactic Degradation and Hell Is Where She Waits For Me, Death Mask Divine, Nightbringers begins slow and melodic before picking up pace and pretty much shredding your face off. Honestly, if I had to pick my favorite part of this track, it would be the solo. On the other hand, if I had to pick a least favorite part, it would probably be the lyricism on this track. Or at least the subject matter of the lyricism. Look, don't get me wrong, Trevor Sternad is an amazing lyricist, in fact, probably one of my personal favorites. He has a certain elegance and charm to the way he writes about such gruesome topics, and that's no different on the lyricism in Nightbringers. It's well written, but it deals with Christianity and how metal is essentially the enemy or the superior of such established religion. While I can get deeper into lyricism here, I actually plan to review this album when it's released, so I'll save the deep analysis for later when it comes out. At the end of the day, I just hope that the Black Dahlia Murder doesn't become one of those bands that bases a good majority of their lyricism around anti-Christianity and Satanism. You know, death metal is the enemy of light, metalheads are the enlightened ones. Because honestly, the subject matter is so oversaturated in metal music these days that it's become kind of cringy in my mind. If I wanted to cringe at how anti-Christian and rebellious metal was, I would just go listen to Deicide or pretty much Glenn Benton talking in any interview. Anywho, if you guys haven't checked out this track yet and want to, there's a link below. While I didn't get as excited for this single as I did for a lot of other Black Dahlia Murder singles in the past, I still have a lot of hope for this upcoming album. There's been a few less desirable songs over the course of the Black Dahlia Murder's discography, but there's also been a good share of bangers, and I'm sure this upcoming release will have a few of those. Unfortunately, I don't think the title track is one of those bangers. I would have to give Nightbringers 4 out of 10 nuts. So if you enjoyed this review, feel free to subscribe right there, and of course, hit that like button. Got a bunch of links to my social down there if you want to follow me on any of that, and you can check out the last video I made up there, a discussion on celebrity mental health and Chester Bennington. But honestly, if you came for Black Dahlia Murder, you probably don't really care about that. Or maybe you do, I don't know. With all that said, I'm Greg Chapelski the Music Nut, and I will see you guys next time.